Hello, everyone. Good late morning to everybody. I know it's been a while. I think in the last video I told y'all I lost my job, but I've been doing sewing and alterations for people, and I have my better half, so I'm not in dire straits. This morning I looked at my analytics on my video, which I want y'all to know I never have looked at them before. I feel like I'm shadow banned, but what does that mean? Maybe I don't have a lot that people want to hear, or it's just not put out there. I don't have the graphics, the whatever. Am I capable? I'm sure. I just haven't sat down to learn and do. I just think a lot gets hidden behind graphics and clips and shorts and whatever. Unfortunately, we don't have, and then of course things are interesting or they're not interesting, right? I mean, it just is what it is. You either want to listen to me or you don't want to listen to me. It's very simple. You might not like what I have to say, and that's okay too. I mean, I know how to click off videos when I've heard it before, or it's something I don't agree with, whatever. But others don't know how to do that. Anyway, I spending time with my granddaughter, which is a wonderful thing. I saw a video about, people saying things don't feel the same, time is speeding up. It's hard for me to be objective with that because I'm past Wednesday. I'm over 50, and yes, time does seem to be speeding up. But then I've been told that a lot of my life, that as you get older, you'll notice that things just go faster. It happens so fast. So I don't know about time speeding up. Some days seem slower than others. I mean, like dragging, especially when you're doing something you don't want to be doing. And other days when you're having a nice, relaxing, it doesn't even have to be exciting, but you're just like enjoying the peace. Time goes by very fast. I don't know. It just, there's no real pattern for me. So I'm not sure. But as far as people feeling like they're disconnected and things aren't just as joyful as they used to be, or they're not as excited about doing stuff as they used to be, even when they can save up and afford it, things aren't as exciting as they used to be. Well, maybe because this world is more tied to the bad side than it is the good side. Maybe you're not excited about going to that concert because you understand the symbology that's on stage with that particular artist. Or you understand that music concerts aren't the end-all be-all. You no longer worship these people. You see them as flawed human beings, just like you. I don't know. I do understand the getting more excited about stuff. I never really was a worshiper of any band. I mean, I grew up in the 80s when it was at the top, the height of it all. And I just don't remember being like wearing the Duran Duran pins or t-shirts or putting posters on the wall of, Def Leppard, or I don't know, back then Black Sabbath, if you were into all that. Blondie was out. I'm trying to run the late 70s, ABBA and all that. I was, wasn't quite a teenager then, but anyway, why do things feel the same? For me, not feel the same. age, you know, age, I'm slowing down a little bit. But I question, something is a little off, and I can't quite put my finger on it. But I think it has everything to do with becoming aware of what's important, what's truly important, and that we're not living our lives to what's important. And we're wasting a lot of time running around like lemmings or robots, doing what we have to do just to put food in our mouth, a roof over our heads, and, you know, gas in the car, and if you have extra, you know, things for the kids, if you have kids. I mean, we're struggling. And when you pick your head up from that struggle and it's over with your kids, you go, oh my God, where did I spend my time? Was I a good mother? Was I there enough? Was I too worried about the bills as opposed to what was going on in their lives? How much time was I spending at work just trying to keep us afloat? Instead of with them, how many hours did they spend in the school instead of with me? You wake up and it's over. And then you're on to the next stage. When you have all this time or more time, you don't have all this time. You're still trying to survive, but it's not quite as difficult because you don't have other mouths to feed. But yet you want to be there in case they have an emergency, but you're just right on the edge of not being able to do it yourself, for yourself. One big blow and it's over. You know, no insurance, it's over. It just, it shouldn't be that way. But yet here we are. Here we are. The things of my parents' generation, of the long-term jobs with, you know, all these benefits at the end where you have a pension and retirement and stuff, those days are over. Those days are over. Gen X got some of it if you were in the right field, but we got, most of us got chopped along the way. Most of us. But yet we did sustain maybe a home and hung on like crazy to keep it. Sometimes to our own mental and physical detriment. But it's spiritual. It's what time are we in? We've been told our whole lives that we are at this certain time, 2026, and we are told that this is what is history that led up to this today. And many of us have found out that those who write the textbooks, of course, are the winners of the wars or whatever. I mean, an illiterate person with the truth is not going to be able to write it down for us, literate with no money, when actually they would tell the truth, okay? Because they lived it, they experienced it. The educated ones who may not have even been there are going to tell us what happened according to what the government wants them to tell us. So, where are we? Carbon dating. There's another one past that. Radon. I can't think of it. There's a different type of dating, but I mean, how accurate is that? Until somebody actually explains it to me, and I mean explains it to me, and I were to do it hands-on, because I'm a visual doer to learn, I'm not really buying a lot of this. and there's certain layers to Earth, and we can tell by the layers. Really? What if there was a flood? I mean, and it rearranged the sediment. How do you know what, I don't know. I just think that time is, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think we've been here as long as what they want to say we've been here. And the story doesn't quite align with the way they want to say everything aligns. And I believe when looking at the Bible and things outside of the Bible that were left out of the Bible and other things and how stories match from other cultures and stuff to our main stories in the Bible, that there's a definite pattern and thread. And there are things that we are not being told that are not just metaphors, are not symbolic in the Bible. He's not talking just in parables. A lot of it's literal, but it's so fantastical we can't quite grasp it. I don't know what our history is, but I know we've been lied to greatly about every single subject you can possibly think of. We've been lied to somewhere along the way. And what I'm doing is just trying to know better. You should know better. It's my ancestors used to say, and God, I miss them deeply. But you should know better, Missy. I'm trying to know better, Grandmama. And it's a bit overwhelming to think about. But I have obligations. I have moments of pure joy watching my granddaughter. I have someone I love deeply. I have a couple of people I can talk to besides y'all who have heard the strangest stories I have to tell. My life has been quite strange. I've had so many different things happen to me that if I were to list them out to you, you would find it unbelievable. And I'd have to be a liar. I call myself a liar, but I'm not. If I told you I had siblings that were on milk cartons, would you believe me? Because I did. If I told you I was a rafting guide in Colorado in the 80s, a female, would you believe me? With this southern accent? So many things. I've had things in the supernatural happen, but some of my stories aren't as fantastical as others, is what I think. But if I told you I had a child who had NDE, and 3 months after we finally got out of the hospital, for 3 months he was in the hospital, he finally told me about his near-death experience, and he was so hesitant to tell me. And then I said, why didn't you want to tell me? He said, because I didn't want to hurt your feelings, Mama. I didn't want to come back. He was 8 years old. If I told you that story, would you believe me? If I told you that I lived with a poltergeist for a year who was capable of moving my sunglasses from one location to another 3.5 hours away, would you believe me? I call it a poltergeist, but who knows? have so many stories that are truths. But in this world today, you know, who would believe me if I told you that as a teacher, I reported a pedophile, another teacher who was well loved, and the principal, vice principal, and counselor did not report it. And the only reason he was caught is because I went around them to assistant DA of the area, because I had a feeling they weren't going to report him. And he only got 2 years for 3 boys because, see, there's this loophole that the accused has the right to efface their accusers. And the parents didn't want them to be testifying in front of him, understandably. But because of that, they strike deals and they get lesser times, especially with children. Would you believe me? I taught at a prison, caught another one. Couldn't stay at that job either because, you know, once you're a snitch, you know, especially at a prison with boys, not men, boys. There were a few men there, but they were just hitting 21 and would be transferred. But would you believe me? Yeah. There are others. I'm just popping things off the top of my head. Strange, strange times. Knowing things that, you know, sometimes you wish you could just go back and be completely ignorant, but that's not why I don't think that's why we're in existence. It's time to know. For some reason, we're here at this time. We're supposed to know. There's no more pretending anymore. There are a lot of people pretending, but for some of us, there is no more pretending anymore. And it doesn't mean you get depressed and you go crawl up in the hole somewhere and give up, because, ooh, that's tempting. Means you silently watch. You are a witness to what is going on, and you give advice where you can. You hug people when you can. You help when you can. Although I am not, I don't like getting out there. I'm not a social bug at all, especially anymore. I'd rather stay home. But I was out the other day and I actually talked to some people about some things you don't normally talk about in the middle of Tractor Supply. And I think I actually helped somebody. So when you're out there, help people. Learn as much as you can. If our soul never dies, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to polish it, so that you can help others, even when after here, I guess. One day at a time, one foot in front of the other. I pray for better times, but I'm afraid we're in the little season, that part they never talk about in the Bible. Revelation 20. We're going in for the final battle, maybe. Maybe. I don't see how we can sustain with the leaders that we have in charge. Maybe there's something I'm not seeing. Maybe there's something I don't understand. But logically, it just doesn't make any sense. And the devil is nothing but chaos. If you see chaos, that's his work. We have free will, and we are messing things up royally as far as the human race. If they're all human, I don't even know at this point. Some of these people are just sick. I mean, beyond sick. But hang in there. Keep living and writing your story, metaphorically, even if you never write it down. Because you're making a difference. You're creating a ripple that you're not going to be able to see some of the fruits of your existence, but they're there. Keep participating. and try and find that joy and live as simply as possible. You know, but when you're worried about that $30, you really don't want to spend it because, you know, you're trying to save your money for what? I don't know. I might not be here tomorrow and you don't know about buying that cheap pool and the sprinkler for your granddaughter in the backyard. Just do it. As long as you can still eat and have a roof over your head, just do it. And enjoy the smiles and the laughter. And hang on to hope, because we have little people that we need to be there for. And then we need as many good people as possible. We can't leave them here just to the monsters around us. Can't do it. You have a responsibility. You can't chicken shit out. You just can't. So, pull your big boy drawers on or your big girl panties on and get out there and keep going. One day at a time. And still have fun a little bit along the way. Bye for now, and I will talk to you later. Much love.